Now, before we get started, I'd just like to introduce myself. My name is Chad Hasbrook. I'm one of the program managers here in the Azure Identity Engineering team. My team focuses on supporting our customers' readiness and deployment. Let's go ahead and get started. These next few videos have been pre-recorded from an existing session that has occurred before. Now don't worry, we've edited out any sensitive information, so you may enjoy them. I'm going to now switch over to the walkthrough. This first video will discuss how to configure the Azure B2C Tenant and assign the subscription. Further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So the first step in any type of environment, you need to actually create the B2C. So you just log into your tenant, and then you go in and click, create a resource. The resource here, if you type in B2C, you'll kind of have this telesense and okay, Azure AD B2C, and you just click this. This will shoot off kind of a creation flow. Azure B2C is a resource in itself, so it's just like creating a directory, because that's what you're potentially doing here. It is a separate directory from your main Office 365, and so the identities that live here are going to be independent. So when you go to create, it'll kind of walk you through kind of two options. Naturally, I want to click create B2C. You can call anything for here. This value is an organization name. This is linked to your branding. So if you get an email as part of like the MFA reset, then this is the value we use to populate that value. So it is important. It is visible to your customer, so you want it something friendly that kind of articulates your business. The second value, if I copy it and paste it, this is more uniqueness for the namespace. You see this little button is kind of loading. What it's doing is checking to see if the namespace actually exists. And this is important because this will show up on some of your endpoints. So again, you want to create something that's relevant. A lot of people like to use the words like QA, prod, dev, and they add that. They put it as a suffix onto their environment. So if I was Contoso, I'd be Contoso Dev, Contoso Prod, etc. And just a way for them to keep up with all their environments. So we see that quite a bit. And all it is create. You hit create and this will generate. It takes about a minute or two. And up here, you have little toast notifications. It'll go pop up and it'll tell you it's working on it. And then it'll let you know that it's been created. Once it's created, quick way to navigate back to that same spot where we were at is up here. You can say create a B2C tenant or link an existing. And you can link back over here. And then our next step in this document is the linking the subscription, which if I click the subscription, it'll give me an option to ask you which subscription you want to link. You can create a security group. I suggest, creating one security group and put all your B2C assets in there so that it all kind of lives together. You may want to do Azure Application Insights. You may want to create a database or SQL. Or you may want to create some VM that's run or an Azure function. Putting all that stuff together will help you both manage costs as well as if you have environments you just want to nuke away, deleting those resources easily. But the tenants here, if you click here, it'll drop down all your B2C tenants. Once you link that, that'll take a few seconds to a couple minutes. You'll get again post notification up here. It'll say, yeah, you're good to go. Then at that point, I always recommend just hitting F5, refreshing the browser. That way, if you have anything cached, it's good to go. I mean, it's just best practices on that. And then after you refresh it, we need to go navigate to that newly created B2C tenant. I've created one already just to speed up this process. If I go to switch tenant, this is the one I actually created called Chad Lab Test 1.